Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela, I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady, and welcome back to Funday Die Day. Now this one is using jam jars. Now the camera is extremely close on these. They are certainly not as large as you may expect. There you go, there's my hand so you can see the size. Now these fit in lovely 50 grams of the 50/50 cotton, which is 50% cotton, 50% acrylic. So come on, let's go and see what idea I have for today. So I have got some stock dye here in a nice container, and yep, as you can see, it's green. I need to use it up so I can start playing with some other colours. Right, so what I've got today is 4 hanks off to one side that are ready to pop in here, that have been in soak. We've got the dye. It's got a kiddie syringe. Heck, my kids are well and truly over the age where they need a syringe to take their meds. So that's what I'm using today as my measuring device for the dye. Right, I am going to, hopefully, my plan is to have 3 different shades of the same colourway just by adding a different amount of dye to each container. And the 4th container will have a cheeky experiment added to it. The base I'm using today is the 50/50, which is 50% acrylic, 50% cotton, and it is a 50 gram hank. So each one of these will have 50 grams in it. Right, so, I just need to move. First up, I am going to be popping in the hanks. Now these have already been pre-soaked. Okay, so it's number 1. Here is number 2. And there's number 3. And the last one up, number 4. No, actually, take number 4 out and leave that till later. You'll see why. Right, so let's open this dye and hopefully not cover my hands and my work surface. This is really not the best container to store it in, which is why I want shot of it as quick as possible. Okay, so in the first one today, I am going to be adding, there's my mixing figgy, .5 grams of dye. 2.5 millilitres of dye. I'm getting covered, look at me. And then we're going to grab some of the premix, and at the moment I'm going to pop in what are we on? half a pint. Oh, nearly into the wrong one. Okay, and I will top this up in a moment if needed. So give that a gentle mix, and then pop it into, oh, we've got an extra bit of dye on the side there. Right, so you ready? We'll pop that into container number 1. Okay, I'm going to do another 2.5 ml. Into the pot, and do the same again. And then now I'm going to top it up fully. She says hopeful. What we're going to need, probably another time. Or maybe not, I'll just pop it to the top and hope for the best. Okay, so that's container number 1 done. Come off. Oh, fingers and thumbs today. Go on, Ned. There we go. Okay, now to mix it up a little. Okay, and then just pop it there, and we'll leave that one as is. Into number 2. And do that this one a little bit quicker now, can't we? Because we've got a rough idea. So into this next one, I am adding 10 mils. And I'll just hope I've not put too much water in now. Give that a quick stir, nothing special because I'm going to shake it again in a moment, and then we'll add that one in. Pop the lid on. This is all very scientific, you know. Not. Right. So let's give that one a quick shake. Now I'm hoping the camera is showing the colour variation. Yep, it's showing a little darker, which is good. Now on to container number 3. Okay, and now to add some water. Let's grab some more. Give that, of course, a quick mix around. And time to pop it in the container. grab some more. There we go. Pop the lid on. I'm attempting to do this left-handed, and of course I'm right-handed. Right. Okay, now give it a bit of a wiggle. And I'll pop that one there. Okay, so there we have, so here we have our 5mm, here we have our 10mm, and this is our 15. There we go. Right, now it's time for the magic one. So no, we're okay there. Right, so into this one, I'm going to put 30 mils. Yep, that's right, you heard me correct. 30 is going to be super strong. And there we go. We'll add a small amount of water to this one. Give it a wiggle. Now this time I'm going to pop it into the container first. And what I want to do is bring the water up to about halfway. That's not enough. There we go. Give it a quick stir. And now I'm going to add my yarn in, because what I'm hoping here is that we get a semi-gradient effect. We know that my plans never go to never work out, so I really shouldn't tell you what I'm planning to do, but here we go. Let's pop this one in. Now I'm putting it in slight circles. Okay, so the majority of that is already in and already getting dyed green. Now I'm not going to top this up. I am going to now leave this one as it is and see how much of the top of the dye, how much the top of the yarn actually soaks up. So let me just pop the lid on this one. So I should explain the reason I'm putting lids on these today is because I do have a dog who likes to be nosy. So this will have its lid on, be very carefully moved over. Where shall I pop it? Let's confuse everything. So we'll pop it just there, and then I'm going to actually leave this camera running, and we're going to fast forward now. Actually, let's bring that forward so you can see it better. There we go. I'm going to fast forward this now. Well, not fast forward it, I'm going to keep recording and then fast forward the main bit, and hopefully you will be able to see how the green takes in this one. Maybe next time, I've just realised next time I'm going to do it with less water in the bottom. See, I've already got my next plan of action. Right, so I did actually take Liam out for a walk, and I got back a little bit later. I'll put the real time stamp, not time stamp, sorry, the real amount of time that I've left it for so far will be coming on screen just about here. Right, okay, so Let's bring you up closer. I'm going to move the camera rather than moving the jar at the moment. This one. Okay, so as we can see here, we do have some green soaking up, but not a great deal. I'm thinking this one would be really cool for a planned pooling maybe. And then of course we have our 3 gradient jars there. Okay, so this is where I'm going to give up on leaving it to sit. You know I'm an impatient toad. I'm going to pop it into my steam bath now in the containers as they are and give them a little bit of time in the steam bath. I won't be showing you that bit though because I can't hold the camera that length of time. Now I'm back with you. I am actually on my breakfast bar again rather than the side by the cooker as the light is failing yet again. It's getting a nightmare. It's getting darker earlier and earlier. Right, so I thought I would be here with you to decanter these ones. Now I went to put them in my steam pot in the glass containers but it's a bit small, could only fit 2 in, and then when I went to fill it so that it covered a little bit, the water came out the sides and covered my cooker top, so I can't use that method. So what I did was I just left them as they were for a good few more hours. I think I started dyeing these at 10:30. It is now 2:30. Okay, so let's crack open the lightest of the light. Now of course this was mixed with 5 mils of the dye, of the liquid dye. I'll try and find an end on this. There we go, there it is. Give that the last wiggle jiggle. We'll see what we get. Now this has got a really pretty light undertone to it. Now as you can see there is still a lot of colour left in the water, which I'm quite shocked about actually. I did think it would suck up a lot more in the time frame that was left. Okay, so that is what we have left, and this is number 1. Oh, I've got spillage. Right, I just used a kitchen towel. I cannot see any stainage on my kitchen towel, thankfully, because I really shouldn't have used that. That's going in a wash. Okay, so there is shade number 1. What I'll do is I'll put them all in front in a minute so that we can have them all laid out nicely. Okay, and number 2, this is with the 10 mils of colour. There's the dye. Hold on a minute, this is really messy, give me a moment. That's better. Emergency direct cloth. Alright, okay, I can be a bit more cheeky now and not have to worry about fluids going all over the work surface. I'm not sure how much of the colour it's actually showing you on camera. Is it focusing in? Not too brilliantly. Okay, now I've just laid that next to the other one. There is a slight tonal difference, but not a great deal. Now there is quite a lot of colour as you can see, still left in the water. Now here's the third. Now until these are dry, I'm not going to be able to really be able to see a great deal of shade and tonal difference in them, I think, because the amount of dye used was so small. But that's just me guessing. Okay, so there's 1, there's 2, there's number 3. Now number 4, I am actually going to leave that one, and I'm going to leave this one overnight. Okay, and I may end up actually putting all 3 of these back in and leaving them overnight. What I'm going to do now is show you what they look like. I'm going to take a photograph and add it as well. Let's tip the camera down for you, and fingers crossed you'll be able to see some sort of colour tonal difference. Now the reason I took these out now was because I was hoping that I would be able to set up the experiment again but make even stronger colours. So basically taking it from number 3, which is this one, up to the the same colour base as the number 4, which was 30%. Okay, so I'm not sure if the lighting in this room is going to show you the tonal differences. I can't make it out on screen, and they are looking quite pasty on screen. They aren't, they are a little bit brighter, or quite a bit brighter. Give me a minute, let me turn off the overhead light. Now, does that help at all? Not really. Okay, so let me move a number 1 down to sit next to a number 3. Okay, so number 3, remember, is the one in the middle. Okay, so on screen you may be able to pick out the tonal differences. I can see them now, but what I'm going to do is take photographs and add them in now. Okay, so and now is time for the final section of this video. The last 2 hanks of yarn that I have, I'm going to put them back into these containers, which is container number 1 and container number 2, but I am going to add more dye. Okay, so hopefully the theory behind it, it's not very scientific, mind, but my theory behind it is if I add the same amount of dye to this one as I do this one, then the depth of shade will jump as well, so that this one's a little bit lighter than that one. That's my plan, that's what I'm hoping for, that's where I'm probably going to muck it up. Right, so because of course I've got no way of measuring how much dye is of course left in that water. I'm not that scientific. Right, so let's grab 20 mils, I think I'm going to put in, if I've got enough, that is. Right, so that's 5 in the first, 5 in the second, 5 in the first, 5 in the second, 3, 4, 4, and there we go. And yep, still got a bit of dye left. Right, So that is 4 in each. Looking at a distance, although you can't see it now, but looking at a distance, there is a slight tonal difference to it. Let me just grab me long spoon. First one stirred up. Second one stirred up. Now to grab these hanks, separate them out because I've got them sitting by the side. I've drained them a few moments ago. Right, there we go. And number one. Sorry, this one's going to be, what are we on, number 5 this is. So let's give that a gentle squidge down. Give this one a little bit of a mix rather than what I did last time, which was shake it. I think, I don't remember, that was this morning. I'm now on afternoon. Okay, and now for the second hank. In again. Again, we'll give that a squidge down. Squidge that way. A bit of a squidge that way. There we go. Now, I'm not going to bother leaving these on camera for you guys to see. I'm just going to pop the lids on and pop them back where they were, nice and safely away from Liam the dog. Okay, and the leftover green that is in the tub here and any other green water I'm going to keep to one side because I'm too tight to chuck it. So I might as well use it. You never know, I might be able to get another hank done in a darker green, and we'll keep working until I run out. We'll just have to see how these two go and whether these two jump up in the saturation colour. Hey, I knew I'd get them in the end. The saturation colour, see if that jumps up again between these two as it did the other one, or whether these two come out the same. I don't know. Apologies for the state of the background. I'm still in the middle of putting this room together. Hopefully next week it will look the way I want it to. But let's do a little bit of a breakdown on this video. Now, I wasn't actually going to show it to you because it's such a massive fail in one way and not such a massive fail in the other. So let me show you the yarn and then we can have a laugh and a giggle. And then I'll tell you what I plan to do to change it up next time round. So that, of course, the colours will look a lot brighter and basically work out how I was hoping they would be rather than what I've got here. Now, it's not a problem because at some point I may either over dye these, or I've got somebody in mind for them and a project in mind, which isn't a channel project, but I will show you it once it's done. It's for a lovely lady and she's getting married, and I've said I would like to make her something and she said yes. So I'm hoping that this colourway is a colourway that will match in really well with the wedding and it'll be something that she likes. So now let me get in my bag. But as we know, Angie thinks she's mucked this one up. Now, there were the 6 hanks. Sorry, I'm having to remind myself because I recorded this last year and this is my first video of 2000 that I'm actually 2023 that I'm actually trying to make without too much cutting out. So I'm going to leave that last muck up bit. Right, so with these hanks, and when I laid them out, the changes between the colours was so small that in some lights you couldn't actually see any real difference unless you took number 4 or 5, sorry, number 6 even, and stuck that against number 1. Then you'd have been able to see that there was a colour colour gradient. But if you keep them in the order that they were done in, you don't notice the gradient. There's no sharp colour change. It really does go, it blends so nicely that I wouldn't have an issue joining this yarn midway through a project. I don't think it would be noticeable to me. So that's why I say it's a bit of a ooh. Right, okay, so what I actually ended up doing was to make it so that you could all see the variations in colour a little bit better, is I've separated the 6 hanks into 2 piles of 3. Now what I've done is I've taken number 1, 3 and 5, they're in one pack, and then 2, 4 and 6 are in the other. That's right, I've thrown in number 6, which has that white patch in it that's at the top. That was planned from what I remember. I might have to go back and watch the video. Yeah, it was planned. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is show you pack 1, 3 and 5. Hopefully you'll be able to see it on screen. Remember, I will be popping in some photographs at the end, so that hopefully you'll be able to see it a little bit better, because I'm not too sure how the light's going to play, and now that I've changed things around, I haven't got my main light bulb behind me yet, so this might be re-recorded, this bit. But there we go. Oh, okay, they're showing up relatively well. Okay, so the green itself is a little bit more brighter than what it's showing on screen. To me, looking back at it, it's looking like a greeny grey, but it isn't a greeny grey. It's just a really beautiful pastel green. I absolutely love it. Okay, so that is one up this end, 3 in the middle and 5 at the end. Okay, now looking at them, yeah, that's the right way around. This is a number 2, number 4 is in the middle, and number 6 is at the end. So as you can see, there is, hopefully, oh, this light's really bad, but hopefully you can see there that there is a gradient difference between them. You can see that they're slightly different colours, but not enough so that it's really noticeable. As I said, I think both of these sets will blend in beautifully. Now, if you've fallen in love with them and you do actually want them, please tell me. Either pop it in the chat that's along the side of the screen at the moment if you're here on the preview, or of course leave me a message in the description box, and I will do you a deal based on the 3 or the 6, depending on how you want to play it. But I won't be breaking up the sets, so it's sets of 3 or the full lot of 6 if I've still got them. If of course nobody wants them, then I will hope that the bride will, and then I'll be able to make something. But don't panic, you're not taking it away from her, because my main plan was to actually go white because it's for the bride. Have white, not an off green. But we'll have to wait and see. Okay, so what would I do different? Let me think. I would make sure that my pot can actually hold the glass jars in the first place, so that I can bring in some heat that way. Or of course I can make it so that I bought jars that fitted in my microwave, so that I could be cheeky and do it that way. Or I could have picked a day where it wasn't chucking it down with rain and probably only about 5 degrees, and then I could have shoved them out in the garden and solar set them instead. What I did do was I did leave them overnight, but it didn't take enough of the dye in. I'll show you what I mean. I've actually got one of the jars here that's been sitting on the side since I've videoed that, so it's over a month old now. I don't know if it'll be any good. Should be, but I might just shove all of them into a pan at some point and just stick in 100 grams and see how we go. Never know, I might get something really cool. But here we go. Here is the colour as it's left. Wow, that's showing up really dark. This one actually I think is the most heaviest set dye out of the lot. But yeah, as I said, it's left a lot of dye in there. It hasn't soaked it up how I'm used to dyes being soaked up. So yeah, definitely make sure it's hot outside if I'm going to attempt to solar set it, or whatever the term is. Or make sure it fits in the microwave so that I can do it that way and heat it up that way, or make sure they fit in the pan. All 3 I failed on with this video, but I thought, you know what, might as well start the year with a giggle. Okay, start with a giggle, and then we'll move on to more serious dyeing later on this month. Right, so remember, if you like today's dies and you want to purchase them, just fire me over an email, but make sure you put a comment either in the comment section of this video, if you're watching it later, or if it's on the preview, pop it in that pop-up box now so I can stick your name on a post-it note and then keep an eye out for your email. Right, that is it for me for today. Have an absolutely lovely rest of your week, and I will see you really, really soon. So please remember, stay chilled, stay happy, and keep crafting. And remember, if you're here for the preview, you've got 2 minutes to say goodbye to everyone. Ta-ra, everyone. Here's the photos.